Hello, I wanted to make a video about my recent struggle with dental health that I've been down and out for about a week and a half, and I wanted to let people know what I've been going through. And first of all, I want to say thank you to all the people who reached out to me asking if I'm okay because they hadn't seen me post lately, and all the well wishes that I received from so many people. I really appreciate it. And I just wanted to say that I I really had a serious infection and that I was dealing with. And what happened was I was ignoring a cavity in a tooth, number 5, for those of you who know dental. I recently moved and my insurance changed because of getting married, and I needed to change dentists, and I was spending way too much time researching because I tend to be a little bit more picky with things that have to do with my health, and which is a good thing, but there's also a point where you need to just get it done too. And it was starting to hurt a little bit more, and I was not I hadn't decided on a new dentist yet, and I figured, oh, I'll get to it, and I wasn't. And then it came to a point where I was having radiating pain throughout my skull, and I was like, man, I hope this isn't already infected. I need to get to a dentist now. And I used to be a dental assistant. I was a dental assistant for 10 years back in the 90s and early 2000s. And so I have a lot of knowledge about this, and but I was not prioritizing it. And so anyway, I no longer had time to research the best dentist. I just needed to find one. And I was able to get in that day that I made that decision, when I was thankful. And I went in and I told them, my tooth is infected. I know it is. I used to be a dental assistant, and I know what the signs are. My tooth is infected. And she took an x-ray and she said, it's not infected. And she showed me, and I was like, man, I'm really surprised. And I was certain that it had been. And I thought, well, okay. And she said, a filling will take care of it. And so we scheduled for the following week, as soon as she could get me in her schedule, for a filling. And I was so grateful. I was so elated leaving. I was like, I got to make sure that I, really get on top of these things. I feel like I eked through this one. Anyway, that night I didn't sleep, and I wasn't able to get it comfortable at all. The next morning I woke up and my face was swollen, and I looked like the Cowardly Lion from Wizard of Oz. Anyway, it was horrible, and I called to see if there was any chance that they could get me in immediately, and they said, no, we can't get you in until next Wednesday, and that was like 5 or 6 days from there. And I thought, wow, that was crazy. Anyway, I ended up, they were able to get me an antibiotic. It wasn't strong enough. I ended up going into the ER the next day, getting put on a really strong antibiotic, and the doctor there said that it's possible I may have to be admitted in the hospital because this was a bad infection, and I needed to maybe even have IV antibiotics, but it didn't ended up needing to happen. And so anyway, I had to cancel a week's worth of stuff, a week or more's worth of stuff, because this was such a, it just dropped me where I was. I couldn't do anything else except for rest and try to manage my pain. And anyway, the dentist, when she finally admitted, yes, you do have an infection, and then she said, I am going to schedule you, instead of a filling that day, we're going to do a root canal. And I said, hold on, I may want to get it pulled. And she she said, well, it's important to do a root canal. It's important to save this tooth. And I scheduled the root canal, and then I thought, I'm going to really think about this. For the past 20 years, I have strongly believed in not getting a root canal. I have been completely against root canals because I feel like it's not a good thing for our health, for our holistic health. When I was a dental assistant, I assisted a lot in root canal therapy, and I always wondered how it was possible that you can get the inside of a tooth that clean and that it wouldn't reinfect. It never made sense to me. I watched so many, I assisted in so many, and I decided many years ago, I will never get one. I will get a tooth extracted before having a root canal. But this time, it was a vanity issue. This time, it's gonna be one that's seen. So now I'm gonna think about it. Maybe I can manifest a successful root canal. Well, I started thinking about it. And I remember this documentary I saw many years ago called Root Cause, where the doctor, or there's actually many doctors or specialists who show what is actually happening when you get a root canal. And that dental is the only practice within the spectrum of health and wellness, medical, where an organ can die and it's left. It's considered better to leave it in the body. If you had an organ that started to necrose, or you had a limb that died, like a toe that turned black, you wouldn't leave it on, you would cut it off. And I thought, how are you possibly thinking for vanity reasons to keep your tooth? And I rewatched that video, and I decided, no, there's no way. I am not going to get a root canal. And I made a decision. I'm not getting one. So I am getting my tooth pulled, and it's okay. It's going to show. And I am putting my overall health over root canal. And the reason why I wanted to make this video is because I wanted people to know there's always a choice. There is always a choice. You have a choice. Please research it. And I would encourage people to watch that documentary, Root Cause. It's very interesting. I will put the link in the comments, and really realize that when somebody diagnoses you with something, you always have a choice. We need to be our own advocates. We are responsible for our own health. So I'm getting a tooth pulled, and it's going to be okay, because I am not my vanity. And I'm grateful for the fact that I question things. It's not a distrust, but a discernment and taking responsibility. Anyway, thanks again for all of your love and care. I appreciate you all. Thanks.